Next, I would request Mr. Ankoor Das, co-founder and CBO Digitap, to please join us on stage for his presentation on how alternate data and AI are fueling the future of BFSI. May I request Mr. Ankoor Das to please join us stage? Also, ladies and gentlemen, you can see the QR code on the screen. I would request everybody to please scan and you can win some extra points. Thank you. After every session, you will see a QR code here and you can scan and win some extra points from the NG. Thank you. Over to you, sir.
Good morning, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank the organizers for giving us an opportunity to talk about ourselves, my company, plus also I would assume, give a little bit of insights on how alternate data is shaping the future of our industry, right? Before we get to alternate data, a quick introduction about the company that I represent. We are Digitap. We are a 7-year-old enterprise startup based out of Bangalore, and we focus only on working with BFSI clients. Right? We have banks, NBFCs, fintechs who work with us. In all, we are a API stack company where we provide our APIs to our clients to basically augment their requirement of customer identification, fraud detection, verifications, profiling, underwriting, etc., etc. We have close to more than 500 clients right now. I'm so sorry, the deck is a little dated. In terms of the solutioning, these are the broad buckets of solutions that we typically provide. I will not go through each one of them individually, but broadly to speak about it, we provide onboarding and regulatory compliance-based solutions for KYC, KYB, identification, etc. Then we provide a lot of solutions around alternate data-based customer profiling. This is where I will talk about the nitty-gritties of it in the future slides. We are also an account aggregator TSP. We are a multi-account aggregator TSP. We work with 7 of the existing account aggregators in the market, and we provide our banking analytics solutions as a combined product in that. Lastly, we do a lot of work around device-based, SMS-based, PFM or expense manager. That is the last block of solutioning that we have. Again, more than 500 clients, but some of the top clients we thought we will represent. It is a combination of large banks, large NBFCs, and fintech pioneers, specifically under lending, wealth management, and insurance. Right? If anybody has any question at any point of time, please feel free to stop me. So that's about it. That's about us. We'll go to the topic. So what is alternate data? This is a question that we regularly get from some of our clients. The way we define alternate data is any information that you can get about the customer beyond their KYC, identity, and bureau comes under alternate data. It would include information which can be extracted from your mobile phone in terms of telecom connection. It can be profiling information where basis maybe a mobile number or a PAN, we can define whether that customer is a salaried, self-employed, business owner, etc., etc. It will also include information about your financial transactions beyond just the loans that you take, your regular financial transactions. It will also include information which can be acquired from your device, which is the mobile phone. I think Sunil sir mentioned that there are 700 million mobile phone users in our country, right? A lot of rich information there. Everybody has a smartphone, at least in the large cities right now, and it is a huge source of information about the customer. But how do we access? Those are the questions that we typically need to answer. It can also include information about asset ownership. It can information about the kind of financial instruments the customer is partaking in, the customer's presence on various internet domains like social media, e-commerce, quick commerce, OTT, travel websites, job websites, matrimonials, etc., etc. Right? We specialize in acquiring this alternate data for the customer basis very few input signals that we need. Now, one of the use case of alternate data, if you see, there was a comment by one of the very well-known entrepreneurs of our country that his CBO score was less than 750. And he is one of the richest young men of our country right now. Does it mean that he has a bad profile? Absolutely not. Right? In fact, he doesn't need a loan, but still, does it mean he's a bad profile? Absolutely not. But such anomalies can happen on bureau scores. We have seen examples of customers who missed 1 or 2 payments during time of stress. There was an example of a customer requesting a 1-month leeway, moratorium, because no funds. Is that a bad customer? Absolutely not. So how do we solve this problem of a suboptimal score but still being a good customer? This is one example. Another example is youngsters who are entering the formal credit channel. They don't have any history, right? They don't have stable jobs also at this point of time. Lot of people are actually doing gig work. A lot of people are actually digital nomads. How do you judge those people? They are also viable customers, but how do you judge them, right? I'm basically talking about thin file customers without formal source of income, right? There are so many gig workers in our country right now. Take the likes of Ola, Uber, Blinkit, Zeptos. Are those guys not good customers? But they won't have a credit history. They won't have steady income as well. But how do we judge them? So the way we look at alternate data, it can be used in every step of the financial application journey. The use case here is mostly for lending because that's where we see the major use of alternate data among our clients. 80% of my clients are lending firms. That's why the use case is fine-tuned towards lending, but it can be applied across insurance, wealth, many other sectors. Alternate data can be used for pre-screening. Given a mobile number, if you are able to get signals like, say, for example, whether it's a prepaid or a postpaid connection, or if it is a newly acquired less vintage number, right? These are signals which lenders use to identify whether it's a stable number or not. I was mentioning about digital presence. Digital presence also becomes a significant signal to identify whether the mobile number is stable or not. And every application typically starts with a mobile number. In fact, I personally believe, and because I have had the same mobile number for 15 years, mobile numbers are actually becoming alternate identities for customers in the digital domain. So pre-screening, which is basically getting rid of very high risk customers at the beginning of the funnel itself so that your funnel is more efficient, is a use case. Risk assessment, I don't know how many of you know, but basis your mobile and PAN, it is quite simple to get your employment history, your current employment in today's world. That becomes an input for risk assessment. If the guy is salaried, is it a stable job? Have they been in that job for a while? How many years of work experience? All can be identified with consent of the customer, of course, basis a mobile number and a PAN number. Similarly, using these two signals, we can also give you a sense of whether the customer resides at a particular address. We can acquire multiple addresses of the customer and we can do triangulation to figure out whatever address the customer has is a stable address or not. All of these becomes input for risk assessment. Edge case approval, I was talking about as I said, one of the billionaires of our country having a very low CIBIL score. Such cases where you are not sure whether the customer is good or bad just basis bureau, alternate data can help you fine tune that decision and be more confident about taking that decision. Lastly, we have seen alternate data, specifically information which comes in from bank account statements and signals from your mobile phone are very good at defining early warning systems and post-loan monitoring of the customer, right? A very simple example, we have a product called expense management, which we spoke about. It's a SDK-based solution where the SDK sits on a customer's or on my client's app, which is on the customer's phone. We can detect early signal to the level where if the customer has not got salary for a particular month, it becomes a notification for my client to see whether the customer may default in the next EMI cycle or not. And necessary steps can be taken to either help the customer or to ensure that the loan does not become a bad asset. Moving on. See, in the traditional world, bureau was definitely one of the major inputs on underwriting. But the problem with bureau is, first of all, the coverage is limited. Secondly, bureau is syndicated historical data. A customer might have been good, bad, ugly 3 years back, but what about now? Right? If the customer has not taken any new loan for the last 3 years, you don't know what the customer is going through at this point of time, because bureau data is historical. Any alternate data typically is near real time, which means that you are making assessment of the customer basis data which is actual and more recent than bureau data in general, right? And that helps you understand the customer better in the present time rather than on the historical time. Similarly, I already mentioned about thin files. When you're monitoring a customer on a regular basis, you are also keeping track of their financial activities on a regular basis. Unlike bureau, where again you will have to keep pulling it on a cyclical basis. Here you can actually see the customer's actions, activities on a daily, yearly, hourly basis if required. Lastly, if everybody only lends on bureau, our country will only have 30% of people who will get loans. So there is a need to look at other information. And of course, once a customer comes under formal credit, they anyways will start having bureau, but it's a good way to start lending to people who do not. Now, how we have built a product around this? Again, I'm not going into details right now. We will be available at our booth to take further questions, but to just give you a sense. So I get alternate data from close to 10 to 12 different sources, just to name a few. Telecom is one of them. Employment is one of them. Asset ownership is one of them. Utility bills, the information available through that is one of them. We also do alternate addresses, as I was mentioning, from logistics partners. We look at email activity. We look at social presence, e-commerce presence, and then we do a lot of enrichment basis the PAN itself. The PAN itself gives you information whether a customer is salaried, proprietorship, self-employed, or a business owner. And it also gives you a lot of compliance signals, like whether the ITR has been filed on time, whether the GST returns have been filed on time, etc., etc. Now we combine all of this information, use our AI models to give a score for that particular customer. This score is similar in structure compared to a bureau score, but of course, the algorithm to acquire it is different. So we give a score between, as mentioned, between 100 to 900, and we have our mechanisms of defining who's a good, bad, or a ugly customer. And this becomes a very easy tool for you to at least get a very broad sense on customers underwriting risk. What we definitely say is that this is not the only score through which you take decisions, but it is one of the places which you put inside your BRE to basically make better decisions. On this slide, we have just made a summary of some of the alternate data that is available with us and also in general in the market. I already spoke about mobile number and what else can we get from there. Device analytics is basically information and data that we can get from a mobile phone, including SMS and the parsing of it. Then we have financial statements, including bank statements, credit card statements, ITR filing statements, etc., etc. Then we do a lot of work around email intelligence, the domain, history, validity, etc. And then we get employment signals. So these are some of the things which are available with us in terms of alternate data. There are a few more, and this has definitely helped many of our clients strengthen their underwriting, their credit risk to get better customers. As I already said, our score is not one score only decision making model. It is one of these scores which augments better decisioning when it goes into a BRE. These are some of the sectors that we are already working with, and happy to know if there are any use cases in the crowd which we can explore. Any questions, anyone? I'm actually done with my presentation. If there are any questions, would love to take them, or we can connect offline. Thank you so much.
Thank you very, very much, sir. Again, I will request Dr. Ashish Srivastava to please present a memento on the behalf of BNG. Thank you for your time. A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.